Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the show. I want to do an audio check. I want to make sure I didn't lose any audio. Coach Wickard, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Coach Burnett, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, that's amazing. A lot of times I have to cancel the show out, then I have to go back. Hey, I'm telling you right now, it's a big headache.
I like this new platform, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, hey guys, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube right now. We are also on Instagram as well. So guys, share this video. We're going to talk about recruiting today. This is going to be Get Recruited Part 2. I don't know if y'all remember, Coach Wickard came on once before, and of course we call that Part 1. This is gonna be your Part 2 here. We're gonna get into some how to set up an email, how prospects should act on social media as well. But before we do, go to my YouTube page, smash that subscribe button, guys. Smash that button to go ahead and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as well. I want to give a shout out to my guys over there at TrackBarn. If you need any track and field equipment, holler at my guys over there at TrackBarn.com. Use TexasTrackDad to get you a discount. And happy birthday to Mr. Steve McBride. I actually didn't get to see you that video. Hey, happy birthday. Hey, you looking young. I'm telling you that. You looking young. Keep it up. You looking young. All right. For those of you who don't know Coach Wickard and Coach Burnett, we're going to take this time for them to introduce themselves. Go ahead, Coach Wickard.
No, I'm gonna pass the floor because he deserves a spotlight right now. So,
all right,
for David Burnett, Coach Burnett. First, congratulations, man! I'm excited for you and your family. So, you go ahead and the platform is yours, man. New head coach of Iowa.
Let's go!
Oh man,
let's go!
Oh man, you guys stop. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, my name is David Burnett, the new head track and field coach for the men and women at Iowa Western Community College up in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Been coaching for about 16 years, coached at the Ncaa level at UTSA and North Texas, as well as SMU, and then spent a couple of years at Western Washington University as well. And just had tremendous opportunities to coach mostly sprint hurdles and relays, and have had some success with those athletes. Had a guy who ran a 990 wind aided, Teddy Williams, who went on to play in the NFL for 8 years. And then another guy who just made it to the Tokyo Olympics in the 400 hurdles, Jordan Andrade, as well as Alex Donigian. He was a country record holder for Armenia in the 100 and the 60 meter dash. So thank you guys for having me on tonight. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Let me tell you what. Let me ask you something, Coach. And so I ran 100 the other day. I'm trying to get ready for that Masters, and I clocked probably it was a low 18 flat in 100. You think you can give me some tips on how to get that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just say that's the 200 meter time, and you got
to.
Usain Bolt would be right behind you.
And that was 100, not the 200. Go ahead, Coach
Wickard. My name is Justin Wickard. I spent 14 years at the college level, NCAA level, been all over the place like Coach Burnett has done. So I've had the amazing privilege to be around some amazing head coaches like himself and others during my time during my 14-year college career. So now I'm in the private sector, and I call myself the gap filler because I'm always trying to fill in the gaps that these kids aren't getting at other places. And so now I've been in the private sector helping people get faster and work on their sprint mechanics and help hurdlers. So, and then obviously bring true, honest education about the true facts about college recruiting. So it's been fun.
I'll tell you what, Coach, you've been giving out some.
I'm trying. Sometimes it falls on deaf ears. Trying.
You know, So we go jump into it. We go get on this recruiting. So first, let's talk about the NCAA eligibility that all athletes have to register for. Because I know it could be some parents. And also, for those of you who are watching, this is a Q&A. If you have any questions for the coaches, go ahead, just send them to me, and we'll get those addressed. But like the freshmen coming in, and the high schools that already been there, can you explain what that NCAA eligibility is, and when should they register for that?
When it starts to register, they should honestly register at the end of their freshman year in high school. They can go to the Ncaa Clearinghouse Eligibility Center. They can sign up for free, but there is a fee once you get going. I believe it's $99, and they can get what's called their Ncaa ID number, and then during that process, their sophomore year, they want to submit transcripts, start having their guidance counselor start looking at the 16 core classes that are required from the Ncaa Eligibility Center. So you always want to stay on top of that starting your sophomore year in high school. So,
Gotcha.
And it's going to be a little bit different. People, you need to start that now because obviously you want to explore all avenues. Coach Burnett can talk a little bit on that as well, and especially now in his new position and how that looks like and stuff. But at the end of the day, kids can't look at just one division. And when I say that, a lot of Division I. So there's been a lot of amazing kids that have gone on and been Olympic medalists that started at junior college route. Because there's some amazing coaches there and some amazing programs, and you can still get to where you want to go. So, register for the Ncaa Clearinghouse starting your sophomore year, stay up on it, talk with your counselors, but never close your doors. Always start. Gotcha. So, Coach Burnett, you want to add it to that?
Yeah, I would echo that statement there. Is you just never know what the right opportunity is going to be until you go down that avenue. And so, like you said, getting the eligibility center started it's an easy process because they walk you through what you need to do to get started. And then it's really about being proactive, reaching out to the different, institutions that you might be interested in off the bat. It's good to kind of look at TFERs and things like that. That's a whole nother discussion, but kind of, getting to looking to see what level is going to be the best fit initially is always a good start. But then asking questions, I probably answered 30 emails today alone just from student athletes that are reaching out saying, hey, coach, these are my marks. Hey, coach, I want to go to, XYZ university. What do I need to do to get there? And so I think with shows like this, it's our job to educate because people just don't know. They really don't. And, we might lose a lot of student athletes that way because they're not being educated on the process. And so the more education that we can do, the better we elevate the sport.
Yep. And I'm actually, as we talk, I'm actually working on sending the link for people that want it so that we have it. And every year the NCAA puts out a booklet and it's free. So you can go on there and literally it takes you step by step. What are the 16 core classes that you need? How many core classes you got to have done and completed by, end of your junior year, which is 10. And then it goes on the list of, hey, if you're homeschooled to AP classes. So that booklet, if people just go and download it, it's going to answer a lot of their questions too.
Okay. Yeah, no, text me that link too, Coach, so I can add it on the show as well.
Yep.
Coach Burnett, you want to hit on social media a little bit? What
Yeah.
are y'all look? What do coaches look for? Just say you're interested in the athlete and you pull up their social media pages. What are you looking for?
So I'm looking for a lot. I'm looking at what are they saying, but also what aren't they saying? And what I mean by that is, are they somebody that is just in love with the sport of track and field? That's all they post about. You know, they're posting videos of themselves. They're posting videos of their friends. They're retweeting, congratulatory. So and so got an offer. So and so signs with XYZ University. Or is it just fluff? Is it mainstream media type of stuff that they're posting on? That's fine too. I'm not saying that they can't do that, but we want to see, what is this individual about? You know, do they have a lot of profanity in their posts? Because no, this is not a job, but is going to prepare you for a job. That's what a lot of people have the misconception. Oh, coach is being so hard on me because he's telling me to clean up my social media. It's because I don't want you to miss out on an opportunity later on down the road when a potential employer goes back 4 or 5 years and finds one tweet or one picture on Instagram that's maybe a little bit inappropriate, and then it costs an individual an opportunity. So we're looking to gain as much intel as we can before we even contact that individual. Because you never know who is watching you. You just never know. And so when that person doesn't know who's watching them, we want to see how they act. Are they acting in a way that will be conducive to how we want them to act at our institution? Or now that they know that somebody's watching, now do they clean things up and they're prim and proper? So we want to see what that person's about before we even contact them. Do they have their contact information? Whether, they don't have to put their phone number, but is there a way maybe their messages are open, their DMs? Is there a way that I can instantly DM this person and say, hey, I see that you're a discus thrower or a sprinter or a distance runner. I'm really interested in you, or is it hard to contact them? Mm-hmm. So those are some of the baseline things that we're looking for.
Let me ask you this, Coach. So how long do you kind of evaluate their social media before you're like, okay, this kid, I think they're all right? I know you just don't be like day one. Oh yeah, I need to call her. Let me watch it. Some kind. Let me just watch it a little bit.
It's every day. I mean, because we are making when it comes down to it, we're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on our track and field team. And so on any one individual, we're spending a couple $1,000s on them. So we want to make sure that, this person's going to work. Yeah. And so I'm looking at them daily. If I see, I'm going to follow that person and I'm going to see what they're posting about. And I might call them on it. Hey, I saw when I do initially make that conversation with them. Hey, I saw that you posted about, Shaylan Frazier running 10.6 in that negative, 0.8 wind. What do you think about that race? Oh, what? Coach is really paying attention to what I'm posting. Mm-hmm. Or did you even look at that post and did you look at the race or did you just retweet it? Okay. So those are the things that we're looking for, because the track nerds, they'll be like, oh, Coach, man, yeah, it was raining. So-and-so really got out on her and she came back and she ran her own race. There's those things that we're looking for, because then if somebody's talking like that with me, I know that they're somebody that's really bought into the sport. Mm-hmm. They may not have the training, but they're bought into getting better because they're they're posting about the best in their field. So it's every day.
You kind of trying to see if they're passionate, about, track and field. I definitely get it.
Well,
and
then on
go ahead,
top,
Coach.
to go a little further on that, is even when they get to college, depending on the university and stuff, those universities, the eligibility side of things, they're also monitoring their social media pages. There's been many times where the AD or an academic person has approached me or the head coach of that program saying, "Hey, you need to talk to Johnny or Susan because we just seen this on social media and they need to take it down." So, and it's clearly in a lot of universities that social media content, what they post is in the handbook, because you guys got to remember that, especially now with name, image, and likeness, you are your brand. So because you are your brand, you're representing your family, you're representing yourself, and you're representing that school and that uniform and that name every day, no matter where you go and stuff. So you are being watched regardless. And there's always going to be people that's going to try to negatively influence you in a negative way that doesn't look good on those three areas. So it's always being monitored. Even when you go into your career, you might have employees that search you and they're like, "Oh, we found something 5 years ago when you're in high school or freshman in college. Yeah, hey, we can't hire you." So it goes well beyond just track and field.
Nice. Yeah, it's good stuff, Coach. It's good stuff. So Bone has a question here. How often do NCAA look at the eligibility center? Do they? I think I asked you something like that last time we was talking about that.
Yeah,
do they even look at it, or is just a thing they have to do?
I want to go a little further. Like, what is he meaning by the NCAA look at the eligibility center? Like, I guess I need to know more of the context of what he's really wondering, because it's so broad. So,
yeah, Bone, if you're still looking at the show, just drop it down in the comments, and we'll get it back to Coach Wickard so you can answer that. So, Coach Burnett, how can when you're recruiting, right? How does that athlete catch your attention? Because I know you got thousands of athletes to look at. I know you do. How does this athlete stand out from everybody else?
So I'll start with, is it simple to see who this person is, right? Do they give me just the basic information of, this is my name, these are the events that I do, maybe this is how old I am, or this is when I graduated high school. I'm interested in being a coach or a lawyer or whatever the field may be. Is there substance in a simple message? And if there's not, we're probably going to move on, because like you said, thousands. I mean, I had 30 today that were quality.
Wait a minute. You said how many?
30.
Guys, and this is at the junior college level. It's even more. Can you explain that when you were at the other schools, D1 and stuff, how many you got there?
Oh my gosh, I would get, on average, I would say probably like, 30 to 40 emails a day.
Wow.
And it would be,
considering online questionnaires that are submitted.
Oh yeah. It would be, the volume would be very high. And like I said, today alone was, hey, I'm a distance runner from Kenya. I run a 840 in the 3K. Hey, I'm from Nigeria. I long jump 23.8 and run 10.7 in the 100. Those marks can help at the junior college level. Will they help at the D1 or D2 or NAI? Yes. There are different conferences that you can score, But again, it's about, can I simply understand who this person is when they contact me? Or is it this dissertation email that's 7 paragraphs and they're talking about how they lost a year during COVID and everybody lost a year during COVID, you know? So we want to hear the story, but can you make it in a way that in the introductory email is probably not the best time? You know, it's just like it's a courting process. We're dating. So what's your name first? You get to know each other, and then you go into the deep story. But if the deep dive happens initially, we kind of get lost or we get bored and we move on. Because there's so many other things that happen. There's athletes that walk into the office. There's, you know, alumni that call. There's donors. There's all kinds of distractions that will come, and then all of a sudden we forgot about Johnny Hurdler. You know, so we need to. Our attention has to be grabbed immediately in the 3-line sentence that you send, and it has to have very specific information: name, email, you know, the contact information, unofficial transcripts, just embedded into the email, and then a video. I'm clicking that video immediately every single time. And if I don't know who you are, I'm closing the video really quickly, because, you know, you could send me the email and the video. And if I see that there's 8 runners, normally I'm going to look at who's the fastest person in there, or the best athlete, and say, I wonder if that's that person. But if you don't draw an arrow or say, hey, I'm in lane 5 in the white top and red bottoms, I don't know who you are. So we need some descriptors as well.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. I know Coach Wickard hit on that a while back. Yeah. Athletes that are listening, when you're sending those videos, make sure you highlighting yourself on there so the coach can actually know who you are. That's a big thing. I actually had that written down. Should they create a highlight video or just send you one race? What do you think?
I like to see multiple videos because we're trying to see a trend. We might see something in the 3rd video that we open and say, oh, wow, there's a major or minor technical flaw to this individual. If we clean up 1 or 2 things, wow, maybe now they can contribute even more. You know, and it's about angles too. We don't want the mom in the stands that is yelling for her baby and the video is jumping, and it's hard to keep our attention. So, you know, a side view of a race or a jump or a throw, you know, if it's right in the ring for the throw, just something simple, like I said, but and cut it down, make it just a clip. We don't have to see the entire race or the entire, you know, the person walking into the ring or doing their pre-jump ceremony. Just show us 5 or 6 seconds. Hey, coach, this is me at state. Here's one of me at, you know, the Jesuit relays. Here's one at, you know, the Baylor Michael Johnson invite. You know, give us a couple different clips, because we want to see, how did this person start their season at the Piggly Wiggly relays versus how they went to state and now all of a sudden they're going up against the juggernauts. We can see the progression. So,
okay, man, that my mind is still blown. 30 emails a day, and it, Coach, y'all got a tough job. Y'all got it. How do you got this kid, this female, 100 meter dash? You got this kid, she's running 11.5. Then you got this other kid, she's running probably 11.6, but her technique is better than 11.5 girl, right? So how do you make that decision? Or you know this 11.6 girl is eventually going to be faster than this 11.5 girl. How do you make that decision?
Can I go in? And
Yeah, go ahead, Coach. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So this is where a lot of people won't like this, but it's true, right? This is now where what's the injury history of both kids? Okay. Especially on the female side, what is the body makeup? Okay. Physique wise. Okay. What is genetics of mom and dad? Okay. What's grade point average? What's the ACT score? What other packages can both of those get? And then it's going to be what's their training age? How long have they been training? And what have they been training? Because let's say the 11-7 person is getting trained to the max. Some college coaches may say, nope. Oh, but this 10-5 girl hasn't been running that long and is not really getting quote unquote top training and doing certain things. Yeah, I'll take this person. But it also could be if they're both even, let's say performance wise, now it's going to really come down to academics.
Gotcha.
Who's got the better GPA? Who's going to be able to get more academic aid and everything? So there's just so many dynamics. But at the end of the day, let's say they're both even. And if I'm sitting in coach's shoes at his spot or any other program, I'm going for both. Now, both are not going to get the same money.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try to get both if I can. Because then I'm going to recruit them and say, hey, you guys can be teammates. How would that be? Now you get to train with X, Y, and Z and this. And now you have 11-3 girl. Man, we can have a 4x1 that can do blah, blah, blah.
That's smart thinking there, Coach. That's smart thinking there. Yeah, that's tough. That is tough. So Bone got back with us. Let me pull this up. Can you see this, Coach?
Mm-hmm.
Do they check for QPAs more than once a year? Do you know what that is?
Coach Burnett, you know what he's talking about?
No, is he just talking about the GPA?
Maybe he's talking about GPAs.
I think what he's asking is, does the Ncaa Eligibility Center every year, like sophomore year, look at the GPA?
Okay.
Junior year, check.
Okay.
Senior year, check the GPA.
Okay.
They're only going to know that when you send in the official transcripts.
Yeah, he said GPA. Yeah,
okay.
You're right.
Yeah.
All right.
So, but
yeah,
again,
ahead,
that's an onus on the family, the kid, the coaches, and the academics to be talking together and knowing where their GPA is at based off of the Ncaa eligibility and sliding scale, but also realistic of like, hey, this is where you're at. This is probably where you need to go. And a lot of times people don't do that and stuff. So in all actuality, don't leave it up to the Ncaa Eligibility Center when you submit your official transcripts at the end of every year.
Mm-hmm.
You should be a student in knowing, okay, what are the general requirements, what I need to get in. Those are the questions you ask your coach or club coach. Those are questions you need to ask the guidance counselor. If not, then shoot, you just pick up the phone and you call any university and say, hey, I'm a possible prospect. I just need some help and guidance. Or you call the eligibility center and they'll guide you through.
Gotcha. Have y'all ever had to turn away because the athlete didn't take care of that, and y'all to find out to like the last minute or so or something like that? Really?
Every year.
Really?
Year.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Kids will even get to campus and be like, hey, you can't practice yet because you haven't completed X, Y, and Z. We're still waiting on your transcripts.
Yes.
So you can't practice. Or, hey, you know what? You can't come campus yet because you haven't done finalize your eligibility center stuff. So when college coaches are calling, DMing, and emailing, take care of it. Don't wait. And the biggest thing I can tell you is, especially when they get into college, check your emails. Check your emails.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's a small window.
Yeah, go ahead, Coach.
There's a small window from when school starts to when I can't remember the exact date, if it's like 21 days or 30 days, that if you don't have your final transcripts at the eligibility center, if you don't have your amateurism questions answered, like there's all the checklists that compliance will send to the coaching staff once a week, and we're going there into compliance. Hey, is so-and-so done? Is this person missing that? And after that time, if those people are missing things, coaches say, look, you can't practice anymore. I mean, there's nothing more we can do. And every single year I've been coaching, every single year there are people that they just procrastinate, or, it's one of those things where the guidance counselors, they'll go away for the summer, they'll go on vacation and come back, and they'll be bombarded with emails, and they're just going in the order that they're received. And so now all of a sudden it's, oh, I need this today. And they may have just been asking for it for the first time. And so, it's one of those things you have to be proactive, get that stuff done early, because they're going to certify, the NCAA is going to try and certify those fall sports first. And so with football and soccer, volleyball, there's a lot of student athletes in those sports. So track and field is probably the least of their worries. And that's just the reality of it. So if those individuals wait to send that information in, they're going to be coming to me, because and I'm gonna I'm gonna benefit, but they're going to have lost out on the opportunity at another level just because they didn't get the information in.
Yeah. And when coach says benefit from it, here's how he benefits from it. He gets to use that money to go recruit someone else.
So you just say you offer this athlete a scholarship, right? They get to the campus, you fill out, they take care of the business with the clearinghouse and everything. Is that scholarship gone? Is it voided, or can they still go and do the NCAA clearinghouse stuff?
No, it's not voided, but what has happened in the past when I was at the NCAA level is that it's just a big X to start the year.
I got you.
And it just shows that, okay, this person, we're probably going to have to handhold them. And that's not what any coach wants to do, because there's just so many student athletes and there's so many things that need to be done. And so if we are sending emails literally every week saying, hey, you're missing the eligibility center doesn't have your test score. Coach, I sent it in. Well, I have a spreadsheet from the compliance office that's saying they don't have it. So contact somebody at the eligibility center, and if you don't get somebody on the phone, it's not going to get taken care of. So their scholarship is not going to be null and void or anything, but it's just a hard start to the year to not have your star there for the first 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, and I can see that putting in coach's head, hey, this athlete might not know how to take care of their business, and I'm out to waste time looking after them. I get it. I get it for sure. What should an incoming freshman focus on their first year? Should it be hitting big PRs to show out in front of the seniors, or get straight on their books, get that clearinghouse done? I'm going to let you go first, Coach Wickard, then we'll come back to Coach Burnett.
Grades get you the scholarship. So the answer is focus on your academics. Don't take it lackadaisical. Come in freshman year, know what you need to do, and stay on your books. A lot of kids slack their freshman year in high school. One is they're young, and that's okay. But a lot of times now, being on the other side, is these kids in ninth grade might not think they can be able to do college track. Majority of them probably not even thinking that. So you got to start having those conversations right away and painting that picture. Hey, this is where you're at. This is where we like to go. And, I'll give you a great example. I visited a school today and coach was like, hey, You can run 48 in the open 400. He's like, I ain't doing that. I was like, shoot, would you do that if you got a full ride scholarship? He's like, yeah. He's like, but I'm still not doing it. I'm like, so a lot of these kids can't see because they're in ninth grade. They're not thinking of, oh, I'm gonna, not many are thinking that. So to me, it's the coach's responsibility to build that culture, to start having those conversations. And I know that's like pulling teeth, especially on that side with the kid and even family and stuff. They usually wait till the junior, senior, or when they get that first letter or phone call, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So grades first, because at the end of the day, it's about getting your education, going on to college to get a degree. So you want to have the grades and points so you can go to that university that you want to go to get a degree. And if your performances come into that, that's a bonus. So you got to start with academics, because academics is everything.
Gotcha. Yeah. What you think, Coach?
I would definitely co-sign to that. A lot of schools, and we're similar, that we don't start practice that first week of school because we want our student athletes to start out with good academic habits. Go to class. It's so easy to get dropped off in the dorm. There's all this fun stuff going on, free shirts. There's football games going on. There's tailgating. There's all that fun stuff. And then it kind of dies down after the second or third week. And then it's like, wait a minute, I've got 3 Fs. How did that happen? Because you're not going to class. And so you've got to go to class. You've got to pay attention. You can't have your cell phone in your hand. Like there's things that we say as parents and as coaches that it's just a no-brainer. But to some of the student athletes, they just have different distractions nowadays. And so it's hard. It's hard to sit in class and not have Twitter on the background, even though your laptop's open. You have Twitter, you have Snapchat or whatever going at the same time. So I always say, limit the distractions, and you're also going to limit mistakes that will happen. So definitely, we're not worried about a personal best in September. I'm not worried about it at all. I'm trying to see, does this person have the wherewithal to do what we're asking them to do? And that's go to class. When you come to practice every day, you're going to be challenged. You're going to get better. But we need you to be at your best in March at the NCAA indoors or NJCA indoors, and then in May. But we're not necessarily looking for people to show off and show out first day of practice. You're going to get hurt. So just go to class, get your books, the simple things of life, and start out good trends. And then as things progress, more will come in a better way.
I got a question for you, Coach. You have you just recruited a top recruit. They come to your school. You're talking to them, and the first thing they tell you, they want to be an Olympian. Well, what is your response to that?
Great. I'm training you to be the best athlete in the world. And an Olympian is a good athlete. It's not the best athlete. A gold medalist would be the best athlete in the world for that given year. But can we break the world record? Can we be the best ever for that event? It's funny you say that, because I have somebody that contacted me that is a very, very good athlete, and they have high aspirations of doing great things. And Coach, can you take me there? I think I can. I'm in a position to, but can we do the steps that it takes to get there? And more is not always better. I'll say that. So yeah, we don't really talk about that one instance of going to the Olympics. We talk about just the process of being successful and, going through practice and recovery and eating right and getting sleep, and the results will come from there.
Gotcha. You want to hit on that, Coach? And we also got a
No,
question.
I agree. I think it's right. It's if I'm back in that, because you hear that all the time, I'm like, that's awesome. Just like Coach Burnett said, that's awesome. Hey, I'm not God. God knows the plan better than I do. So if it's His will then it's meant to be. But my question would be, do you know the habits that you have to create to have the chance to become an Olympian? Because those are two different things. Many can be and want to, but what steps, what sacrifice, what are the daily disciplines that you're going to have to create over an extended period of time to give you those opportunities and stuff? So, that's where it's like, hey, well, what times you got to be an Olympian? What does it look like to be an Olympian? Are you talking about the U.S. or are you talking about overseas?
Yeah.
Each situation is going to be different, right? And then I'm going further with it. Okay, well, why Olympian? Is it because of money? Okay, now let's go a little deeper in that. Do you understand there's a lot of people in there that don't make any money? So are you doing it for the money? Are you doing it for fame? Like what's the real reason and stuff? So I go even deeper and stuff with everything.
And I think that's a good point too, Coach, telling them, hey, it's professional athletes that work full-time jobs too. It's
Yep.
you're not gonna. I mean, you're not gonna get that big contract out the jump. Some do, some don't. Some have to, work up to it. But
Yep.
that's why I think it's important to have, good academics on the side too. Because you never know how that track and feels.
Yeah.
Any sport, you really don't never know how it's gonna go.
And that's, you got to remember, right? Like if you're lucky enough to have a pro career, okay, and there's different levels of pro. So just to say you got this and some shirts and shoes and you're post collegiate does not make you a pro. That's a whole different topic. But the thing is, if you go, let's say you get lucky and you go to 32. Well, now you have still maybe 40 years of life, working career. Got to go get a job.
Yeah.
So your degree is going to pay you way longer than this little glimpse of your athletic career. So
yeah, I get it. We have a question here. How demanding is track at big D1 universities when your child wants to be a major in pre-med or nursing?
Coach Burnett's been at a school that had a pretty good program with that, so I'm going to defer to him.
He's going to pass it to you, Coach.
It's very demanding. It's very demanding, and in those situations, there's not a lot of. And I'll say this: I won't make a blanket statement. It depends on the coaching staff, but the experiences I've had is, hey, we want you to be good at both, but it's a given that you're gonna be a good athlete. And now we're also going to ask you to have a 3.5 or over if you're wanting to go to medical school or nursing school. So there's not a lot of leeway there for having mistakes. And so that freshman year, the first semester is usually the toughest because of all of the changes that are taking place. So somewhere in there, we have to have success, or we're going to lose that person. So we try to give them everything that they need, tutors, study hall, things like that. But it's very demanding because there's other things that we're going to demand of them also. Hey, we've got tailgating, we've got alumni events, we've got a community service event where we're doing a drive for, Thanksgiving. There's all kinds of things that they're going to be required to do. They're not going to have time to work. If they're a scholarship athlete, pretty much most schools are saying that's your job. Your job is to make that 3.5 or better, and to do well in your event. And so if now this person wants to work a part-time job waiting tables or something, now that's taken away from time that they can study. It's time on their feet. They're getting home late. So now their sleep is being affected in their recovery. So it's a kind of a domino effect. So I would say that's where I come into play. Come to junior college, get those first 2 years out of the way. And then if you want to go to a school and specialize in nursing or something like that, there's some great universities out there. And along the way, we are developing their talents on the track. But then also there's a little bit less demand as far as academically, because it's not as strenuous. It's just, hey, let's get these first couple of basic courses out of the way, and then you can go on and be a little bit more specific those last 2 years.
Yeah. And I'll tie into is when it comes to the demanding part, especially their junior and senior years within the nursing or pre-med, because now they got to go do shadows. That means they got to go to the hospital. So like Coach Burnett said, now you're on your feet a lot, right? And maybe you can only shadow during a certain time because you have practice. So, I can tell you right now, one of the most decorated distance athlete of all time for college, Sally Kipiego at Texas Tech, she was a nurse. And literally her and her coach had to meet separately to do her workouts because she had to go do her shadowing and stuff and had to do all this other stuff. So it takes the discipline. It can be done. So don't let the coaches too say, no, it can't, because it can, right? But the reality is you got to know yourself. Are you going to be disciplined, have the work ethic, have the hey, you know what? I'm not going to go party after the football game, or I'm not going to go do this because I got to study. Or, hey, you know what? I need to take care of myself because I know and eat well because I know I'm going to go be on my feet for 7 hours and shadow, but I know I got to go right back and do this. So you got to be really honest with yourself. A lot of people have good intentions, but then when they get into it, hey, look, if I'm back in that seat, it's like, and let's say they have a 2.9, you're not doing nursing. You're not going to med school. GPA stuff. So, hey, we got to keep you eligible. Okay, let's try to find a different career. And it's not to be mean; it's just being honest. Like, hey, you're most likely probably not going to get into the school because you don't have the academic requirements to get in. So there's just so many factors, and I think at the end of the day, it's the athlete and the parents got to be honest with themselves, but also pick the schools, like because Coach Burnett and other ones, I know the parents said, the majority of them said, hey, it's not possible, can't do it. A lot of times because they're not willing. A lot of people are not willing to make the adjustments for that kid because that is hard. And so depending on the culture, right now, if you set that up, now that can add a rift into the culture because now kids can be like, well, so-and-so gets an attention in one-on-one and training, but I'm in this degree, and why can't I? So it just depends on the culture and the makeup, too, of how they want a program wants to keep their culture, too.
Nice. So on this question here, he said his daughter had 5 offers from D1 schools and was told by 4 out of the 5 that nursing was not recommended, but it is possible it could be done.
Mm-hmm.
So is that kind of almost killing that athlete's dream to be a nurse? Or
no, because again, I think it's with the parent, right? It's what's the conversation happening, right? Because I think a lot of coaches, they're not just coming out and just saying that flatly. There's other conversations that's taking place.
Gotcha.
Hey, let's do an official visit. Let's check it out. And they're just going to be really honest. But at the same time, they're going to be like, it's possible, but it's challenging. Yeah, we've had other people do it, but we prefer to maybe have another prospect that's not going to go to that.
Gotcha.
Okay, so again, it just depends on the dynamics. Trust me, a lot of coaches, a lot of programs do it, and they make it work, and it's been successful. But there's going to come a point at the end of the day. Track and field has to, and the academic part has to be balanced. Usually, when it comes to those degrees, we know at the end of the day, the career is going to be way better than the athletics. So what do you think?
Yeah.
Track is going to take a downside because you want to go into that school and stuff. And so that's where, if that's important, you got to ask yourself when it comes to recruiting, what is the best place for me to make that happen? It might not be a Power 5. It might not be a lower D1, it might be a D2, could be NAI, could be D3. Because at the end of the day, you still get academics. You can still go there, because if I have the required GPAs for nursing or pre-med, and I go to University of Yucca, it's an NAI school, and I had good on the MCATs, and I meet the qualifications, I'm probably going to get accepted. But then I got to now interview, because there is an interview process. I got to go against panel, and I got to now interview. So how well am I going to do interviewing? So there are just so many factors. So it might not be the best situation for that individual at that school for a reason. So at the end of the day, you got to look at what's the ultimate goal. What am I willing to sacrifice to get to here? Because at the end of the day, we all know this, and I struggle with this myself. We can't eat our cake and have it too. Everyone wants it all together.
Yeah.
But there's going to be sacrifices. There's going to be, hey, I can't have both.
Well, at least those coaches are being honest with those athletes, because they've seen it before, and it's kind of one of the things the athletes got to talk it over with their parents, and they're gonna have to decide what's best for them.
Yep. It's their biggest decision, because it's their biggest decision they'll ever make until they decide to get married.
Yeah.
And it's the house, and it's this. So they're making their biggest decision in their young adult lives at this moment.
Wow. Hey, Coach, we got another question here. What do you think about this one? Is it okay if I ask how much the scholarship offer is before a visit?
That you should. Because they need to hear from you.
So this athlete want to know, is it worth coming down there?
Sure. Yeah. And I'll tell you, I try not to on the first interaction, but if I'm coming to your house and I'm coming to do a home visit, I'm probably going to tell you what the scholarship offer is, because I want you to know how interested I am, but I want you to come and see. Don't accept it in your living room. Come and see, and meet everybody on the campus, meet the team, watch a practice, go visit with the academic field that you're interested in, those sorts of things. But sure, ask the question, because if you don't ask, you don't know. They could say, well, oh yeah, we weren't really thinking about scholarship for you. We were just trying to get you to walk on. So you have to ask that question, and it's how you do it. You have to be tactful. Hey, Coach Burnett, I appreciate you coming to my house and stuff. I want to kind of get right into it. We haven't really talked about the financial piece, and that's really important to me and my family. How much scholarship do you guys think you would be offering me at this point? Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that, sir. And then you go right into it. And I'm going to tell you why I'm offering you that. Not just here is the offer. This is what it's based on. And that's a whole nother conversation. But briefly, I'll say that I particularly use stats. I'm not just the feeling kind of guy, and hey, I like this person's build. I'm going to go off of averages, 5-year averages. I'm going to go off of other things that Coach Wickard mentioned as well, though, such as, this person has 4 or 5 athletes in their family that have been very successful athletes. I probably am going to offer this person a scholarship because, they're probably going to be someone that pans out. But then I also want to know, why are you doing it though? Are you doing it just because everybody in your family did it? Or is it because you really want to do this? And where do you want to take this? And what do you want to do after you're done with your career? So definitely ask the question. And then you kind of keep it in your back pocket and say, okay, now I have 3 or 4 offers. This one's low, but I really like the place. This one's high, but I don't know a lot about it. Then you can go through the checklist of things that are important to you and say, hey, I need these questions answered when I go for this visit, or I have to move on, because there are so many schools out there, and there are so many other recruits that a coach will just move on if they don't feel like this person's serious about them as well.
Yeah. Can I throw something in?
Yeah. Go ahead, Coach.
Okay. This is another one. And this is the honesty too. Okay. It's also going to depend on where you are on your official visits. Okay. Because I can sit there a lot of times. Let's say if I know you're my second official visit and you're going to do all 5. Okay. I'm going to want to bring you on campus first, because we can talk scholarship like Coach Burnett said, but then you get to campus and you're like, afterwards, like, yeah, no, not for me. Well, what we extended doesn't matter. It's null and void. Okay. Because you're not going to choose us. But then the second thing too is coaches are going to continue to keep recruiting, because if you're honest, you're not, if a Coach Burnett, unless you know for a fact, you know what, I'm coming to Coach Burnett, or I'm coming to this school and I'm going to take that scholarship. And oh, by the way, Coach, I'm going to stop all my official visits. I'm not coming anymore. I'm not going to any of them. How many are really truly going to do that? 0. I mean, even as coaches, college coaches are like, no, go take it, because you're going to keep exploring. We're going to keep exploring. And as you go through that, there's continual dialogue and conversation, right? How did you visit? What do you think? Right. And then it comes to like, Coach, man, I really see myself here. Okay, now we can start talking some money too. Yeah. So it's going to depend on the institution. Some are like, hey, we're not going to talk any scholarship until you come visit, because it doesn't matter until you come to the school. So that's where, like Coach Burnett said, you got to be tactful in how you go about doing things, because if you come off too strong, now it makes it sound like, oh, you're just fishing for that money. And a lot of college coaches are going to see this. Hey, we are not your 529 plan. So you know what? Maybe not. It's not the best. We're going to move on. We wish you the best, vice versa. So you got to be really mindful. Like, they're playing the game just as we know that you're playing the game. Many will say, oh, yeah, I'm committing. Okay, then we've seen it a lot of times. Well, hey, Coach, yeah. So, because then at the end of the day, if the coaches just think, now they're just sitting there holding the money bag and going, no, I don't have anyone. When I had 5 other kids, maybe possibly wanting to come.
Yeah.
So,
since you mentioned visits, that was actually on my list. Can y'all explain the unofficial and official visits? Is it 5? You get 5 your senior year, or what's the deal with the visits?
Coach Burnett, I would love for you to talk about the JUCO route. If you can, sir.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that either.
Yeah, like we do visits. We'll bring you in for a visit because we want you to see what you're getting into beforehand. In the same token, there's a lot of people that we won't bring in for a visit because they're international. They're in Kenya or, South America or wherever. So they don't get the opportunity. So we're giving them videos, pictures, having them speak with different support staff for the university. But they don't, it's sight unseen. They don't get to set foot on that campus. So a lot of it is, man, I'm kind of trusting my gut to see if I mesh with this coach, I mess with these athletes. But we will definitely, as much as we can, we have a recruiting budget and things like that we can bring people in, and we can, as coaches, we can go out and try and find athletes. So yeah, we definitely want people to come and visit the campus, because you'll be pleasantly surprised. You set foot on our JUCO campus and you'll say, oh my goodness, y'all's weight room is better than a lot of Division I weight rooms. Or wow, the indoor field house that you guys have is huge. You can do a lot in here. So there's a lot of things that you don't understand. So you set foot on the campus. So I would definitely, want people to come and visit Iowa Western.
Oh, yeah. So as far as like high school athletes, so the official visit, do they get five their entire high school career, or is it 5 each year?
Five total.
Really?
So starting, and a couple of years ago, it started opening up their junior year, where, basically when school starts, the first day of their junior year, they could start going on visits. And it opened up a can of worms, because some coaches are like, no, we don't want to do that. That's 1 year earlier, because a lot could change in that junior year. The interest can change. This individual's their physical makeup can change. And so it opened up a can of worms. But it's also a good thing in that you can kind of sift through who is really interested earlier. And then as coaches, you can kind of have a progression and see how this person's progressing for 2 years. Mm-hmm. But definitely, yeah, come on there. And there's a lot of junior days. When I was at North Texas, we hosted one of the biggest junior days in the state. And one weekend I brought 25 of the best athletes in Texas onto campus. And nobody else was doing that. But we had it tied into what our university was doing for the junior day. So they could come and go to a football game, and they can come get the entire experience and then just come by and meet the team, do all that stuff. But it was all tied into what the school was already doing. So it wasn't something that we had to set up per se. Wow. So if there are those opportunities, I would definitely recommend, looking at the university and seeing, hey, do they have a junior day that they have, the different colleges for that specific university, the business college, the math school, like those kind of things. Can I go and speak with those individuals while I come? And then I can go and say hi to the track coach and stuff like that. I would definitely do that. But 5 official visits and see, there's some people that will come on an unofficial and an official visit. It's another touch that you get to have with the team, with the coaches. So I would recommend that as well. I know it's an investment, but this is a really important decision that's being made. So if the school's paying for one and then you have to pay for the other, because an unofficial, we're not paying for anything, but an official visit. Okay. Yeah. Once we start paying for mileage for the student athlete to drive, or a hotel room or a flight, that's when it's considered an official visit. Okay. Yeah.
And I was just about to ask you that. What makes it official? But you just told me when the school is putting out money on that athlete.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I will say,
Let's
since
see.
Coach Burnett here too, is if you take your 5 official visits when you're a senior, right, and then you go into college and you go into the transfer portal, you can go do a visit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can do that. Okay, the other thing is if you go the junior college route, their sophomore year, they can go make visits and stuff. So, but that's the only time that can happen. But now let's say you're especially for guys when it comes to football, okay, football and track, you can't take 2 official visits to the same school. So that means you can't take an official visit for football and then go take an official visit for track at the same school. So it's 1 official visit per school, regardless of the sport you play.
Yeah, that's good stuff because that was one of my questions because I actually wanted to know how that really works.
And then I'll tag this in, Coach Burnett. I want you to go into this because this is, I'll say it. College coaches, this is a pet peeve of theirs. We're gonna go do home visits. Okay. Don't take home visits just to take home visits because it's exciting and you got college coaches coming into your house. Okay. Respect your time, but also know the list. Know the reality is like, do I really want to entertain this? Because you don't want to waste the college coach's time and then also your time. But also know when are you going to make your deadline? Because college coaches are coming to your house, one, to make that impression, but they're also coming to your house for the biggest reason. And that is to get you to commit to make an official visit to their school. Okay. So a lot of times you got to be careful because if I come into your house and at the end, I am going to ask you, okay, here's my dates. What date would you like to come? Hey, coach, appreciate it. We love it. We want to entertain more coaches. We got some more in-home visits. Totally fine. But don't string it out because eventually what can happen, it can backfire. And then that coach go, okay, you're playing this too much. I'm not liking it. We're backing out and stuff. So, I mean, I know kids that have had 30 home visits. 30. Same thing, like, right? There's a big post of like, hey, here's my top 10. That's exciting. That's great. But you can only take 5 official visits. So you got to narrow it down. And eventually you're going to narrow it down to 3. Okay. So all that's exciting. But then a day, you have to pick 1. So just know. And I think that's where parents stuff too get worn out because it's a lot. Because you're also putting it on sort of yourself too of like, man, we're entertaining all this. But if you're you only have to choose 5. I mean, out of the 20 that came in, how much were you really interested in, or did you say, hey, this is cool because I get to take a picture and put it on social media and, hey, look, I had a coach come and do a visit. So, you got to be, there's a game to it, but also be honest with yourselves and know, is this school financially? Can we afford this? If there's no athletic, what's the degree? Okay. Is this a coach in a program that develops athletes that's done a good job? Is this something that I want to be a part of? Is this the location I want to be a part of? Don't just like, oh yeah, coming in on a home visit and, so.
One of our favorite fans for tonight, Bone. I think we covered this too on how the official visit is set up, but y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. So the recruiter or coach, they'll contact the athlete, invite them to the campus, and they'll pay for some of the stuff, if not all of it, right? And that makes it official.
Right.
Let's jump into this email Coach Wickard put together. Let me see if I can pull it up here. An amazing presentation on his email. So, Coach Wickard, I'm going to hand it over to you. And Coach Burnett, you can chime in whenever you like. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So like you said at the beginning, right? How do I get noticed? Okay, the first big notice starts with performances. Your performances are going to get you noticed. Okay, if you're not really getting noticed, it's because your performances. Okay, that's honest truth. Okay, it's not going to be because I warmed up really good, I have a good attitude. Okay, coaches are going to see that if they're watching someone else, but the good attitude, the how you warm up, is not going to make a college coach go, ooh, let me, now they might watch you run and go, ooh, I like how this person's running. Now let me go to MileSplitter or athletic.net, look up this kid and see what their performances are. Okay. So that's the biggest thing. Okay. But when it comes to that contact, it is putting your fillers out there. Okay. And it is your emails. Okay. It's the other things. And this is where, when I go, I'll ask Coach Burnett this. I already know what he's going to say. But majority of emails that college coaches, you guys have seen this now, about 80% to 90%. And a lot of this, what I put here, is from Power 5 to mid-major to NAIAs. I mean, I had over 50 coaches give me response back to when it comes to this. So this ain't just one or two coaches. The majority of them saying the majority of their emails they're getting don't even meet their standards, or basically they're not good. Okay. They're a waste of their time. Okay. And here's the thing, and you guys will see example later. It's like Coach Burnett said, get to the facts. If you know it's about performance and grades, give them what they want, make an introduction, keep it short, Ncaa ID number, graduation year, your PRs with your event averages, your top 5 fastest times, and average them. Put your mile split profile, your GPA, your test scores, attach your official transcripts and test scores, and then you leave it at that. And if they're interested, they will follow back up and stuff. And then from there, that's where you can start sending out other things, giving the story, giving a little bit of perspective on things. Because at the end of the day, it's GPA and performances. Then from there, now we can go through other avenues and stuff. So it's very, very important that your first email, you keep it short, bullet pointed, to the point. And the only question that you would ask is, Coach, what are the performances and standards that I would have to be considered a possible prospect for your program? And then they will spawn back and give you the standards. So, and make sure that you're emailing the schools where your performance are in line. So if I'm a 12-12 girl and I'm going to email Coach Shaver at LSU, that falls in line with the email, with the screen that you're seeing right now in front of you. Think about delete. But if I send it to an NAI school or a D3 where my performances are in those, I'm probably going to get a response. Okay, so you have to be honest and realistic and accurate of who you're emailing. Okay, that's it. That's huge. And like Coach Burnett said, like, your first header, make it simple. Subject line: Justin Wickard, prospect of class of 2023. Now when I get it in my box, I already know it's a prospect. Don't just say Justin Wickard. So, Coach Burnett, I'll let you go in from there, man, because a lot of this is stuff that's going to come from your mouth. It's on the slide.
Yeah, no, I literally, those 30 emails, I probably was able to go through that in maybe 7 minutes, and I'm not even joking, because half of them were exactly what you said. I could not tell what this person wanted. they said that they're a track athlete, and then it's just 3 or 4 paragraphs of, okay, I want to be an Olympian. I want to do this. I want to do that. But I don't know what are your marks? Where are you from? What high school? When? Just give me the basic stuff, because then I have to forward that to an event coach. So I'm not going to just forward it to them. And then they're like, man, coach, why did you send me this? And they delete it. So I'm trying to save them the trouble, because I need them to do other things. Right. So I'm going to sift through it. And if I can't sift through it and say, okay, I'm going to email this to my throws coach, and then I can send it to my throws coach and say, look at this. I got a good prospect for you. I've watched the video as well. Hey, tell me what you think of their footwork. Hey, tell me what you think of this. Now we can both work on it together. But if they want to put it in my hands, because they sent me the email, and I can't tell a lot about this person, it's going to be deleted. Over the years, I've had very few tryout or walk-on athletes that ended up with like major scholarship. It just didn't happen. There were a dime a dozen that ended up doing pretty good. But if you had to try out to the team to be on the team, it's really hard for you to then end up with a full scholarship. It just usually does not happen that way. So like Coach Wickard said, just be realistic with where you're trying to go, and do some of that recon beforehand, and go to TFRRS. Every school is on there, and you can look and see what's happening in the conference. You can look and see what's happening on that individual team, and see what kind of development is taking place, or is there none. But you have to, it's really hard. I can see the other side is, as a high school athlete or as a transfer athlete, trying to put yourself out there to this coach. You want to make an impression. I get it. You want to make that impression, but you have to make it short. You have to make it simple, and you get one chance. So in that one chance, you want to hit a home run. You want to say, man, you know what? This is the chance I get. If I don't do this, I can't get to the finals. This is my prelim. So in this prelim, I've got to get it. I have to write a good message, and it's got to be short. And do that.
Yeah. Now this is the question I'm going to ask you. And I know you'll be honest with me. Here's one tip: home run. Okay. Coach Burnett, there's 2 questions to this. How, in your time of coaching so far, how many handwritten letters have you received from a prospect in the mail?
Maybe 1, but probably 0.
And when you did receive that one, what was your reaction?
Whoa. This person took time to write something, not type, but write this note.
So, step 1, how do you get noticed? Do something that other people aren't doing. Make it personal. Write a note to Coach Burnett, okay, or whoever else, okay? Send the original email, and then send a handwritten. Don't just make it personal. Do some research, okay? Don't make it a two-page note, but make it short. That's, first of all, it's gonna be wow. Okay. Now here's the next one for you, Coach Burnett. So let's say Texas relays, because that's a big weekend for high school kids. Okay. Or let's say A&M indoor meet. How many times has a kid or a coach came up to you and introduced themselves to you?
Oh, several times. Several.
Okay. How many of them have ever handed you anything?
Very seldom.
Okay. Number 2 of how to get noticed. And if you don't think this would work, you say it won't work. I bring a business card with me. Has a profile picture of me hurdling or whatever, throwing, running. have my name, have the school that I go to, okay, have my information on there. On the back of it has QR codes. Those QR codes are links to my athletic profile.net or my mile split. And then the second one is a QR code to my official and unofficial transcripts and test scores. And then the third one is a QR code to my highlights. Coach Burnett, if I walked up to you and introduced myself and handed you that and then asked you for a card, what would you think?
Oh, that would be amazing because everything is right there in one spot. I can pull up my phone and just hover over it and say, well, here's everything I need to know about this person. And that would be extremely unique. There's not going to be two athletes at that meet that do that, you know? So if one did it, that's going to stand out to me. If it's in my event group, I'm signing that person probably, you know,
they're good.
Just off of that. If it's in another one of my coaches' event groups, I'm going to say, you know, this athlete did, and then you tell the story, and then I'm wowed because they took the time to do all of that. That's going to take time to set it up on the back end, but once those cards are done, you're gold, you know.
Yep. So then let's say a kid did that, right? Let's say then after the A&M meet or after Houston or, you know, Texas Tech, any other high school meet, okay? And then let's say a week later, you get a handwritten letter in the mail from that kid saying, hey, coach, nice to meet you, da-da-da, congratulations, you know. Now what? Now what are you going to – now where does that mark go up even more?
Yeah, they're continuing to impress me because they're doing things that not every prospect is going to do. And again, it's showing me that they are they're putting in the time and the effort to stand out, not just, you know, go online and say, hey, I met so-and-so at the meet. I'm really interested in the program. They're taking a step further and investing in the relationship. And that's a lot of what recruiting is. It's relationship building. Yep. And so, yeah, that would be great.
So this is just me, right? As you can see, it takes legwork, not just, hey, I'm going to put it on cruise control. Like, you got to put in the work. And that work might be a lot of work to get this much back. Just like college coaches, we are recruiting a load of kids to sign this many kids. We're going to get all these no's and we're going to get this many yeses. It's the same thing from the high school standpoint. Same thing. So, you know, to me, if I'm sitting as a club coach or high school coach, those two things I did, I'm sitting down with my kids and I'm doing those for every single kid. I'm having the parents pay for those cards. And then as a coach, I'm having those cards with me and I introduce myself to the coach. Now that sets it even more. And then you take those cards that you got from the coaches in exchange, you hand it to the parents and you say, here's the cards that I gave out to. Now, number one, parents know that you're actually giving stuff out. Now you're giving on the onus of the parents and the kids, because we read it in the box to the right. Club coaches and high school coaches, a lot of them are knowing that it's pushed on, but we don't know if it's really coming from the kid. Is the kid really interested, or is this a coach trying to get this kid scholarship? I'll take this person. Put it on what could be. So there's just so many. You just got to look at it at a bigger picture, and it takes a lot of work. And if you're honest too, the amount of work that has to be done, one club or one high school coach, they can't do it. They're teaching, they have jobs, they're doing other things. If you want to do it, you have to do it yourselves.
Yeah, you're right about that. And hey, athletes, parents, indoor season, it'll be here before you know it. So go ahead and start designing those cards. with those codes on the back. You can actually go to the app store because I just downloaded a code generator yesterday for the barcodes. You can go there. You can download an app where you can create those codes. You can attach pages to them like Texas Math Split, Athlete.net, their profile. You can attach that to that code. Then you'll put it on that card or whatever. If y'all need help with that, shoot me a message or shoot Coach Wickard a message, and we can point you in the right direction. But that's a good idea. that is a good idea, and we're gonna make sure my dog has some of those coming up. But Coach Wickard this is amazing right here. This is some good stuff here. So Coach Wickard have put together a email that should go to the coaches. Can you run through this real quick? And man, this is some good stuff.
First, I'm always going to test myself, right? Because it's going to depend on certain coaches like it certain ways.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to defer, and I'm going to ask Coach Burnett to give his take on how things are set up, maybe some tweaks and stuff, because it's going to depend on each coach.
Let me see if I can.
Do you see it?
Yeah, I'm trying to zoom in on it.
All right.
Okay. Coach, if you can, look on your phone. I sent you the PDF.
Okay, that's right. Let me look real quick. Give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah, so it has all of the information, the links to the mile split or athletic.net. That would be really helpful. The videos. Yeah. I would even, if there's a way to maybe highlight or bold, certain things such as their mile split link or the video link, so that way that really stands out. Because again, it's not just me, but we as coaches, our attention span is very short. And so if we're reading through and we're like, okay, I see, like in this situation, this person's a 10-7. All right, well, oh, there's a video. Okay, let me click on the video. And then in that video, you have 5 seconds. That's half of that 10-7 to show me who you are in this one video. And if I don't know what lane you're in, what jersey top you have, those kind of things, the whole email just got deleted.
Yep. And
then you go to the next email and there's a 10-7 that has what lane, what jersey, and all of a sudden they just jumped ahead of you. So it's petty, but it's true. It is very true. It happens.
Wow.
So because their email was, it had more, just a little more substance. Or, hey, you know what? My dad also went to your school. He had great things to say about your school. That's why I'm interested in Iowa Western or whatever the school may be. Oh, cool. Now I can ask another coach on the staff, hey, did you know so-and-so that said their brother went here or their relative or so-and-so? Now there's more conversation that can be had. And then they say, oh, yeah, I know so-and-so's family. They're a great coach. You should really look into this person. So the substance that matters, again, you can really quickly inject that into the email and say, hey, by the way, I'm from Omaha, right up the street. That's why I'm really interested in your university. Or, hey, after I go here, I'm really interested in going to Nebraska or whatever the school may be, So this is good. It's short. It has, all of the information that we would need. The one thing that that might be, like I said, missing is just like, okay, what do you want to do with your academic career? You know, I don't, and correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, if Coach Wickard, if that's in there, but
yeah, I have degree of interest. That's it.
Okay.
Because my whole thing was like, right, it's the first snippet.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff you're talking about, then I would be like, now that's the follow-up email with
Right.
that, sort of like chunk things out. Now, two things that are missing that need to be in there is your Ncaa ID number and your shoot, help me out, FICA, right? Is it FICA score?
Oh, the FAFSA.
FAFSA,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
Oh,
are the two things that need to be in there.
you know what, too? You can add in their social media.
Yes.
Just their quick handles, you know, their Twitter, their Instagram.
Yep.
Here's, you know, click on this link. It'll take you to my page.
Yep.
And that would literally be just about everything that
Yep.
you would need to be able to, you know, have a pretty good look at this prospect. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, guys, this that email template is the bomb, and you need to get with Coach Wickard if you're interested in getting more information about this template here as well. And that was a job well done on that, Coach. But guys, we're gonna have to cut this show because you know I'm old and it's getting late and I got work. We had a few questions left, but we're gonna save those for next time. Y'all guys got anything before we get out of here?
I will say this.
Go ahead.
People that were in it or currently listen to it are going to listen to it later. Okay. When I say this, I'm saying it in true honesty and sincerity. Okay. For anyone that's seriously looking at track and wants to go to college, okay, there's a person on this panel right now, okay, that knows his stuff. Okay, if my son was getting ready to go to college, I would honestly, truly trust Coach Burnett in leading my son or my daughter and knowing that they're going to be taken care of. Number one. Number two is I know he can coach. Okay, and number three, the dude is connected, just like myself and other people. So just because it's a junior college, your dreams and your aspiration can still happen. Okay. It's going to be a lot more personable. Okay. So at the end of the day, everyone that's listening, you need to consider Iowa Western because not of the program, it's because of who's leading the program. And that's a lot of things to do when it comes to looking at schools is who is leading it. Because it's the leadership of that program that matters more than anything. Okay, so just because it's Iowa Western and it's farther away from Texas, a lot of things can still happen and be really, really good and successful. And Omaha's a nice area too. Okay, so
I appreciate that.
You're welcome, man, and I truly mean that. So, but you know, we're here. Coach Burnett's here. You know. I mean, I appreciate you, sir, of hosting, resharing stuff. You're doing a great job of promoting these high school kids, doing the interviews, and you know, I appreciate you and what you're doing too. Because
I appreciate that, Coach. I appreciate.
You're welcome, because I know you don't get enough of it, and you need to be, you know, thanked and everything. So, you know, keep doing the good work that you're doing too. Because it takes a village. Because
it does, and I appreciate that. And like I said, when I started this, when I did my first podcast, I told myself, you know what? If nobody never listened to this, I don't care because I enjoy doing it. You know, but it's really been taking off with support from you, support from Coach Burnett, and others that has been, you know, really putting the word out for me. And I thank y'all too. You know,
You're welcome.
but track and field is one of the sports that don't get that much publicity, you know, and that's why I'm here to help it. But if y'all decide to send Coach or an email or something, we didn't talk about it through the show, so we just don't go emailing them just your name and come on. If you need to, you got this weekend to watch this show over, and you need to make sure you standing out if you're going to send them anything. All right, you need to make sure you standing out. Coach, you got some final words?
Yeah, no, this content is great. I'm sure Coach Wickard can co-sign in that. If we had this stuff when we were coming out, oh my goodness. I mean, this is gold. So knowledge is power, and you have to use it how you can. So my suggestion to those that watch this, parents and prospective student athletes alike, use it. You know, take the things away that you feel are going to help, and sit down with those people that you feel are going to help make this decision. You know, if it's the high school coach, the club coach, sit down and say, hey, I watched this show and I learned this. Hey, how can we put this into practice? And go forward. If you have questions, reach out. We're never going to just shy away from answering. I know specifically Coach Wickard does a great job of putting out content on his social media. So, you know, go ahead and reach out. We're both on Twitter and whatnot. So reach out if you have questions. Our job is to help elevate the sport and educate people. That's why I'm in it, you know. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be on the show tonight.
Oh, and thank you for coming. And guys, I will also go into the description once this show loads and put their Twitter handles on there as well. And like I said, y'all want to reach out to Coach Wickard, Coach Burnett, go right ahead. And Coach Wickard also does speed and hurdle training as well. I seen him get out there himself on them hurdles. I seen you, Coach, out there.
It's going to stop eventually.
But guys, thanks for watching us again. Make sure you go to YouTube, subscribe to my channel so you can see more live videos like this. We got a lot of content on there already. We got a few videos with Coach Wickard on there as well. But make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any social media site. If you get to a social media site, you don't see me on there, make sure you let me know so I can get on there. All right. But guys, thanks again for watching. We'll catch y'all later. TexasTrackDad out.
Have a good one.
Peace.